Pastor Kemp has been incredible, and he's really been a great influence on my life and the life of my family.
I think he's great. He's probably everything you'd want in a pastor.
I just think he is absolutely wonderful in the things that he's done in our lives as well as the church. And for our brothers and sisters of Christ, it's just amazing.
Two heroes in my life, male heroes. Number one is my dad, number two is Pastor Kemp.
I think that Pastor Kemp, I think he's a wonderful pastor. When I came to this church 4 years ago, he welcomed me to this church, and 3 years ago he welcomed my wife, and 2 years ago he welcomed my daughter Tiffany, and 1 year ago he welcomed my son. So I think he's a spirit-filled pastor.
I think he's pretty good guy. He's all right. I think he's a very consistent man in both his character, his integrity, his life. Very consistent. He's very genuine. I think that he shares a lot of who he is as a person, Sunday, week in and week out.
Help us to learn that secret place, the will within the will. When we find ourselves getting frustrated, when we find ourselves getting up in the red zone, our life, the engine of our life is whining and getting overheated. Help us to calm down, quiet ourselves, and be still and know that you're God.
He really is a pastor. You know, there's teachers and there's preachers, prophets, and all those things, which are good, and the church needs them. But Pastor Kemp is truly a pastor.
I appreciate his honesty and his dedication, his love, his passion, being the man of God that he is, being the shepherd that he is. It's meant so much to me in so many ways.
Really, I just look at Pastor as being a true shepherd. We kind of look at a shepherd in the flock. We really look at as being sheep that were lost. We were the lost sheep. And I guess as we look at Pastor Kemp and how he shepherded us, he's continued to nourish us and teach us. So he's a pastor, he's a teacher, and he's just a godly man. That's how we look at our pastor.
I really appreciate his integrity, character. Character really does matter in the position as a pastor. And you know, sometimes you get into situations where character is flawed, or you know, there's a Sunday message but a Monday through Saturday living, and that's just not Pastor Kemp. What you see on Sundays, what you're going to see Monday through Saturday.
His pastoring just doesn't stop here on a Sunday. It's just that he reaches out to us. So he's a friend, he's a brother, and he is very sincere, and he does care out there, and he is the voice of reasoning at times when we're struggling day to day out there, and just out of the blue we'll get a phone call from him, and how the peace of God just kind of, you know, sets in. But it's just, that's how wonderful of a man he is.
I think Pastor Kemp is amazing. I think he is a man of God. He's a real deal.
Oh, he's absolutely genuine. He is exactly in person what you would see on stage. Maybe a little less preaching involved, but he's exactly who he appears to be. You know, you don't see one person on Sunday and then somebody else Monday through Saturday.
You doing, sir?
Thanks for serving.
Yes, sir.
Bless you, man.
What are you?
We haven't had too many run over today, have we?
Not today.
All right.
He models for me the type of life that I hope to have when I'm, how old is he, 50-something? 54? I hope I'm in the ballpark of where he's at when I'm 54. It'll be a pretty good goal. So number one thing, I appreciate the example he gives for me.
Well, Pastor Kemp has taught me how to be a man in a way, in that how he treats his wife and how he treats his family. It's a model for me in how to treat my wife and how to treat my son and daughter.
Check on my wife sometimes, especially if I give her a hard time in the first service, try to go and start the makeup process.
He treats them with respect, he treats them with love. And even in his teachings, family comes first. No matter what he says that you're supposed to do for yourself, you're supposed to start with your family first. So, and I love him for that.
As many of you know, I have ALS, an incurable disease. Just a few weeks ago, I went to the altar for prayer. He anointed me with oil, and he began to pray. But let me tell you what I remember about that. It was the emotion in his voice when he began to pray and seek God for me. There was another time I was kneeling at the altar seeking God, and I felt a gentle touch upon my back. I heard that emotion in that voice again, seeking God for Larry Jackson. Those are the kind of things you don't forget.
The biggest effect has been accountability. I see him, he asks me, how are you doing? What did the Lord say to you today? What have you done to spend time with the Lord today? And he won't let me off with the answer of good. I can't give him a one-word answer, and I can't skate around the truth of what the Lord said to me or how much time I've spent with him or perhaps not spent with him. He's held me accountable.
I was a member of a breakfast team called the CIA that met on Tuesday mornings at 6:30 with Pastor Kemp. Several of us would be there, and he would always bring up a topic and challenge us and want open discussion. That's a shepherd. At the end or before every single breakfast, he would go around the room, regardless of how many men, tell me what's going on in your life. He wanted to know what's going on in your life today. And he went to every single man sitting there. That's the kind of man he is, and that's also a shepherd.
There are so many times where I have called him up and tracked him down in Walhalla, wherever he is. I think he regrets giving me his cell phone number. Because I will literally, I don't care if he's on vacation or not, and he's so accessible. And I think that's the thing. It breaks my heart when I hear of people saying they go to these big churches, and when they're going through something hard, I'm like, well, just talk to your pastor. And they're like, well, we can't do that. And I'm just like, that's just so foreign to me, because I can always do that. I can always call him in good times and bad times, and he doesn't act like he's heard it a million times. He doesn't act like I'm wasting his time. He really listens.
The quality of my life is completely different, and I have to give him that credit, because he's always talking about serving, and I didn't, it took me till last year to really get that, and I'm still in the process, but I'm not sitting on the outskirts anymore. I'm completely plugged in, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
But Pastor Kemp is more than a shepherd to me. Pastor Kemp is a friend, a dear friend. We talk every week, either by phone or pray for each other, or either we'll hug each other at service. Sometimes we even share things that we both have problems with, and we want to pray over each other. But there's hardly a week goes by that we don't talk.